Everybody, thank you for joining us for the regular Village Board meeting of February 14th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold.
Here.
Trustees Brockman.
Here.
Carroll. Chapman.
Here.
Kirkland. Here. Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
Here.
Trustee Carroll had reached out to me this afternoon. He is unable to make this evening's meeting. So, otherwise, we do have a quorum. We will move forward with this evening's order of business. Next item brings us to our citizens. Are any citizens wishing to address the village board this evening? Seeing none, we will move into this evening's consent agenda. Item number 1 will be approval of the regular meeting minutes of January 24th, 2023. Approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes, January 24th, 2023. Approval of the accounts payable in the amount of $892,444.59. Approval of the payment amount of $105,513.30 to Lane Christensen for Well 9 rehab. Number 9 would be approval in the payment of $13,048.75 to Tesca for the comp plan. Approval of the payment amount of $516,596.37 to Pacific Construction for the PW facility. Payment the amount of $39,522.04 to Springbrook for our annual subscriptions. And approval of the payment in the amount of $39,835 to Sievert Electric Service and Sales, which is the 5-ton crane out at the PW facility. Is there any items that a trustee has a question on or needs further explanation?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Chapman.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes. Our consent agenda is approved for the evening. We'll move into reports and communications. On everybody's agenda, there's an item for reports and communications. There was a presentation for the Saved by the Belt Award. That family had to cancel for this evening, so we are not able to do that one. On the other hand, we have a retired police officer that was back in town, so we would like to bring forward the resolution since he's in town and present that to him. And then we will put that on our consent agenda at our next board meeting for approval. If everybody's comfortable with moving forward with the resolution. All right, before I read the resolution, I want to recognize Detective Jason Kima. He's a 20-year veteran from the Shorewood Police Department. Spent 6 years as a detective. He was a founding member of our Honor Guard from the Shorewood Police Department. He was one of our first school safety initiative officers. Worked also with the Child Advocacy Center, and was also part of the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force. So pretty impressive in 20 years and the stuff that he's been able to accomplish, and we congratulate him on this. He's moved forward right now. So bear with me as I will go through the resolution. This will be a resolution of the Village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois, honoring police officer Jason Kima. Whereas the Village of Shorewood has had the good fortune to have been served for 20 years by Detective Jason Kima as a caring, dependable, and honest employee. And whereas the Village of Shorewood does hereby find and determine that Detective Kima's services over the last 20 years at the Shorewood Police Department have been invaluable to the police department and to the village. And whereas Detective Kima was part of the department's first school safety initiative, he was a focal member of a committee that brought uniformity and training to Shorewood police officers and educated hundreds of school teachers and administrators on the importance of overall school safety and the police response to a potential active threat. Children attending both public and private schools within the Village of Shorewood police jurisdiction are safer due to Detective Kima's dedication to this noble effort. Whereas Detective Kima was a founding member of the Shorewood Police Department's Honor Guard, his commitment to honoring fallen police officers and their families while serving his honorable profession came genuinely from his desire to recognize those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas, as a detective, his passion for technology led him to become a member of the Illinois Internet Crimes Against Children, his thoroughness in his investigative skills led to several arrests and convictions involving persons not only in the village of Shorewood, but across the country. And whereas Detective Kima was a member of the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force, he represented the Shorewood Police Department on several homicide investigations across the region. His professional skills and demeanor represented the police department well during his time served. And whereas it be found and determined by the village of Shorewood that Detective Kima may be succeeded, but that he can never be replaced. Whereas it is hereby deemed advisable, necessary, and in the best interest of the village that the President and Board of Trustees express their appreciation and deep gratitude for the service and efforts of Detective Jason Kima in his 20 years with the village and express their best wishes for his retirement. Now therefore, be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois, that Jason Kima is hereby recognized and heralded for his services to the Village of Shorewood from December 30th, 2002 through January 8, 2023. Be it further resolved that Jason Kima shall carry with him the blessing and gratitude of this village and all of its residents wherever he may travel. Be it further resolved that this resolution upon adoption be spread in full upon the records of the Village of Shorewood, and the clerk of the village is hereby directed to deliver to Jason Kima a signed copy thereof. With that, I simply want to say, Detective, thank you for your years of service. Feel free to approach the podium and say a couple of words.
So, being a man of not many words, unless you work with me, which many of those words cannot be said here. Thank you for the years of support from everyone here, all the way across the room. Village Administrator Klima, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at, so thank you. Chief Arnold, it's been a year, it's been a fun year. That's it. And then, brothers and sisters, thank you for everything. That's all I got.
Thank you. And as we said, we'll approve the resolution at the, as we said, we'll approve the resolution since we couldn't add it to the order of business, which we didn't know you were going to be here this evening prior to Friday. So we are very appreciative that you were able to come over here and we can at least get this to you. And after our next board meeting, we will get you the signed copy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two other things.
Sure.
First, from the police department, recognition of service presented to Jason Kima on the occasion of your retirement after 20 years of dedicated service to the Shorewood Police Department, and it is signed by all your brothers and sisters. So do that real quick.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
He was the one picking me up on the bedroom floor.
Taking us from a group of guys who didn't know how to march to getting us into a Memorial
It's a
Day ceremony
confusing
on
night.
behalf of the Shorewood Honor Guard. Thank you for everything you've done for us and everything you've trained us to do and how to do it the right way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Regarding any additional reports, communications, Lana, was there anything else that we had received that we were not aware of prior to the publication?
No, sir.
Thank you. With that, we will move into this evening's order of business. Item number one will be consideration for approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of an exclusive brokerage agreement between the Village of Shorewood and D&K Real Estate Service Corporation, DBA Draper and Kramer. The administrator and Ms. Engel, we're going to touch on this one.
Sure. As you all know, Public Works has vacated the 906 and 908 Cottage Street property. So we're bringing forward an agreement, a brokerage agreement with Michael Mallon of Draper and Kramer. Michael Mallon's a well-known real estate broker in the Chicago area. He's got 30 years of retail experience. Kind of a unique start to his career. He started out in local government, working as the director of planning for Lombard up until 1985. And then since that time, he's been in retail real estate. He had a couple of stints working for grocery stores, including Dominic's and Jewel, and actually brought Dominic's to Shorewood. And then he's worked a bunch of commercial deals really since 1985. So we think he'll be a good fit. He also does some municipal consulting, so he has a good understanding of the type of project that we would like to see and the type of tenants we'd like him to recruit. And he's a professor at University of Illinois at Chicago. So we think he'll be a good fit. What we're bringing forward to you today is a 6-month exclusive brokerage agreement, fairly typical for this type of project. The village would not have to put any money down, but we would have to pay a commission if he is able to sell the property. And as part of it, he's got to provide a marketing plan and budget. He has to vet prospective buyers. He has to negotiate the price, and then he'll provide monthly and quarterly reports to us as well. In executive session, the actual price of the property will be discussed. But right now, what we have before you is essentially the text of the exclusive brokerage agreement.
Anybody have any questions for Natalie?
I have one. For the budget for the marketing, does that come out of the commission, or is the village paying that?
That comes out of the commission.
Okay.
So essentially, he does the risk. If he's, he's out the money if he's not able to sell it.
Okay. If no one else has any questions, I'll make a motion for the approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of an exclusive brokerage agreement between the Village of Shorewood and D&K Real Estate Service Corporation, DBA Draper and Kramer.
Second.
Motion Selfridge, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
Good. Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2 will be consideration for approval of a resolution accepting public improvements for Heartland Corporate Center, Building A, and releasing the improvement bond at 21250 Southwest Frontage Road. The PIN number is listed in the item, and this goes back over to Ms. Engel.
Sure. This is the building we commonly know as Bob's Furniture. It was built and completed in 2016. At that time, the village did all the necessary inspections. They started the paperwork to release the public improvement bond and to go to maintenance bond, but it was never continued. As we were going through the old records, we realized we need to do this. So we're bringing this forward to you today. We've been holding $383,765.16 for several years. So we're asking today that you accept the public improvements and that you release the bond. And since we've held the bond for so long, we don't think there's a need for a maintenance bond.
More of a housekeeping issue for us to return that money on the bond. As we're all well aware that warehouse has been occupied and not causing any other issues of late.
We did go out and take a peek and make sure everything was okay, and the records do reflect the inspections being done at that time.
Very good. Anybody have any other questions on that?
I'll make a motion for the approval of a resolution accepting public improvements for Heartland Corporate Center, Building A, and releasing the improvement bond at 21250 Southwest Frontage Road, 0506 21 402 004 000.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Kirkland.
Yes.
All right, item number 2 has been approved. Item number 3 will be consideration for an approval of an ordinance amending Title 6, Chapter 11, Section 302 of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois. This is in reference to Earl Road and Geneva Street. This item is up for a first read. And again, Ms. Engel will kind of cover some of the details on this.
Sure. Over the last year, the parking habits in the Shorewood Industrial Park have kind of shifted a little bit, and we're starting to see more trucks and cars parking on the street. It's not so much of a problem if there not being enough parking spaces on the lots, as much as it is some people are just parking on the street because it's more convenient. So there have been a number of times where we've observed semis parking on the street. There's also parents parking on the street when they drop their kids off to activities, and then those kids exit the car, and the semi drivers have trouble seeing them and stuff like that. So we've brought forward the idea of doing a no parking zone along Earl and along that part of Geneva that runs through the industrial park. If we did this, it wouldn't affect the residences at all that front Geneva, so it would just be the industrial portion.
I kind of disagree with your first statement there, because those baseball kids, that parking lot's full of semi tractors and trailers. So the parents can't get in there and maneuver around to get out of there, is the way it looks to me like.
Okay.
So
that's
unless,
what we should look at.
and I don't know if those semis are allowed there, or what are they doing there to begin with? Because I don't know if they're servicing that building of somehow, or if that company is run out of that building, but I don't know what the parents are going to do, because they can't get in there and get out of there.
So
Okay.
there's the space between the two buildings where there are no semis, that's the best place for the parents to go. There's,
Space between the two buildings?
there's, the Black Electric has two buildings. There's space between those where there's no semis. The parents are parking on the street.
I guess I'll have to go back through there, because I don't remember seeing that.
And then Gully Transportation is the trucking company that's trucking in and out of there. And they're having trouble turning into their lot because of the parents parked on the street.
I see, yeah.
So that's what's happening there. And then we've got other places down the road that are, just indiscriminately dropping trailers. Trustee Carroll had mentioned that. And then we have one business on Geneva that's prolifically parking excessive vehicles and trailers and stuff on the street that needs to be dealt with. So if you go back and look, you'll have.
So you're comfortable with going with this tonight?
I am.
Okay.
The semis are all on the south end of that building between 207 and 301. They're not in
Correct.
between the other two buildings.
Okay.
So the parents do have the opportunity during the hours that baseball facility is operating. There's nobody parking in the middle. Block Electric is closed at that time. There's nobody parking.
And at 9 o'clock at night, how do they get from that building to where you're saying? Is it dark, or is it lit up, or?
There's lights on the building, but they're not particularly bright because we don't want bright lights shining into the neighbors' backyards on Ravinia.
Right,
So,
yeah.
It's on both sides of the street, on the road.
correct.
Yeah, that'd be on both sides, yes. Again, the item's up for a first read. If somebody wants to waive a second read, we can go forward. Unless somebody would like to look at it a little bit further, we can do such as well, so. To whichever the board is comfortable.
It's not a problem. Could we wait till the next meeting for this one? Okay, I mean,
Let's leave it as a first read. We'll bring it back in 2 weeks. That way anybody has an opportunity at least to double check it and
Thank you.
look at the property themselves and have a full understanding of that. Not a problem. All right, with that, we'll move on to item number 4, which would be consideration for approval of an ordinance naming Illinois Route 59 north of Jefferson Street as Brook Forest Avenue. This item's also up for a first read. This is really going to be a housekeeping issue. We've been contacted by Will County 911 that there's been a little bit of a discrepancy on 911 calls coming over there. The Postal Service is indifferent on it. They will deliver mail to whichever way it is listed, if it's listed as Brook Forest or Brook Forest is one word. Matter of fact, I was supplying an address today, and even on a search engine, it's coming up as 2 words. So I think we would be very straightforward just by waiving the second read and, for sake of clarification, creating Brook Forest. The only impact we have is 1 street sign.
We did check and see what addresses most businesses were using, and the majority of them were using Brook Forest as 2 words, not 1. So we thought that was the way to go. And it's never officially been named. It's always just been Illinois Route 59 on any official documents.
So it's gonna be Brook Forest, 2 words.
Yep, 2 words.
I think that's how the subdivision was listed way back when it, it was
Yeah, the
platted,
subdivision
so-
has 2 words.
Yeah.
Everybody's okay with that? I'll take a motion to
I
approve.
move to
and waive it.
approve, I move to approve an ordinance naming Illinois Route 59 north of Jefferson Street as Brook Forest Avenue and waive the second read.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
yes.
Chapman, Kirkland,
Yes.
and Luciano.
Yes.
Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5 will be consideration for approval of a contract with Cosgrove Construction for the annual street lighting repainting project not to exceed $80,000 and waive the bid process. This topic goes over to Public Works Director Noriega.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. As many of you have noticed, many of our street lights are showing wear and tear and are in need of a repainting. So this project is targeting Route 52 between River and Raven, Sal Road between River and the railroad tracks, Mound, the frontage road over to approximately Lake in the Woods subdivision, River Road, Black to our northern corporate limits, and then even the poles over at Cindy's Four Seasons Park. If you recall, we also tried to do a project like this in 2021. We started the project, but the contractor was not unable to get started in a timely fashion, so we had canceled that contract. So we took that funding plus this year's funding and combined it to also hopefully entice a little bit more interest in our project, giving a little bit more meat to the project itself. So our project includes the blasting, the cleaning, priming, and painting of our street lights poles. We're also proposing to use a little bit higher grade paint, hopefully to get a little bit more life out of it. The paint itself is very similar to what we would normally use on our water towers. Okay, so now that temperatures are starting to become a little bit better, we hope to be able to get this project started sooner. The paint does require 50 degrees and rising. So we are recommending the village board waive the bid process and award the contract to Cosgrove Construction with an amount not to exceed $80,000. Any questions?
Interesting to see what these companies consider traffic control. One company's only $1,000, another company's $15,000, so
Yeah.
that's quite a difference
Yes.
for traffic control, so.
So the bid is the alternate bid, which is the higher end paint, is that, okay. I'll make a motion for the approval of a contract with Cosgrove Construction, Inc. for the annual streetlight repainting project not to exceed $80,000 and waive the bid process.
Second.
Motion Selfridge, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yep.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
and Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, item number 5 has been approved. Item number 6 will be consideration for approval of a proposal, purchase, and payment to Landscape Structures Incorporated for the K Crest Park reconstruction project. It's for the equipment over there for $118,731, and this item also goes to Public Works Director Noriega.
Thank you again, Mayor. So we're continuing with our park replacement program. K Crest Park is next on our list. If you recall, we just completed 2 parks last year, Diana Park in the Sunset Hills subdivision, and also Kitts Corner in the Fox Bend subdivision. K Crest Park was built originally in 1997 and it still currently has many of the original playground equipment in it. We did hold an open house on December 5th where we were able to present 2 different concepts. The concept had one vendor, which is this Landscape Structures, which you see in front of you, and then we also had a concept utilizing CompPan, another vendor. So we did take a lot of the resident comments, but unanimously, they did also select new toys or the Landscape Structures. So the new park will have a full swing set. It does have a 2 to 5-year-old play area. It also has a 5 to 12-year-old playground area as well. It will all continue to have a half-court basketball court. We'll also have fitness equipment, and it will, on the north side, boast some native education plantings for the residents to enjoy as well. Now, to take advantage of our government pricing, Sourcewell, Omnia partnerships, just similar to the last 2 projects, we will utilize our discount to purchase the equipment ahead of time. This will allow the vendor to be able to have their 3 to 4 months to delivery, and then we hope to be able to bid the project in March. And by the time we put everything together for construction in August, we'll have both the equipment and the contractor lined up. So we are going to be asking in our upcoming budget, our fiscal year 2023 and 2024, a total of $395,000 for the park upgrades. If this is approved tonight, this item will be committed in our upcoming budget. Staff is recommending the village board approve the proposal, purchase, and payment to Landscape Structures in the amount of $118,731.
We're not doing the payment, it's just the proposal and the purchase. We're not doing the payment on this. That runs against our purchase policy. So it's just for the first 2 actions.
My apologies. Any questions?
So then if we move to approve this, do we have to change the wording of this?
Just
We just
eliminate the
don't-
word
don't mention
Don't say payment?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
then we'll come back when we receive it and it's
And
installed,
we
we're
actually
ready for
paying it,
payment, then
yeah.
we'll do it.
Right.
Okay. Okay, make a motion to approve a proposal to purchase Landscape Structures, Inc. for the K-Crest Park reconstruction project equipment in the amount of $118,731.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Luciano. Roll call, please.
Chapman?
Yep.
Kirkland?
Yes.
Luciano?
Yes.
Selfridge?
Yes.
And Brockman?
Yes.
All right, item number 6 been approved. Item number 7 will be consideration for approval of a resolution approving a First Amendment to the preliminary agreement regarding the formation of a regional water commission. As everybody's aware, the village partnered with 5 other municipalities in the creation of the preliminary agreement forming the Greater Grand Prairie Water Commission. Due to some delays through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, the actual formation of the Water Commission has not been or cannot be approved yet due to 4 of the municipalities not getting their water allocation approved yet. So at this time, we're moving forward. We're asking that all 6 municipalities are moving forward with making the amendment. Additionally, so nothing has changed in that structure of the preliminary IGA. The other change that has applied, or the only change that is applied currently in this agreement is there was a member of the commission that moved the receiving station, which in turn has created a credit back to all the other municipalities. And before any of this was even approved, so everybody's aware, this goes through a technical advisory board, this goes through legal, this goes through financial, and before it comes back to the mayor-manager's coordinated working group for final approval. So there are numerous reviews, numerous checks and balances before anybody's given any type of adjustment or credit or allowing to alter the basis of design on this project. So I don't know if there's any questions. Besides, I'm more than happy to try to answer them. Myself, Noriel, Aaron have been sitting through numerous of these meetings in regards to this.
Just tell me,
$2,022?
no,
Okay.
just tell me for us older gentlemen that have been looking at this for 18 years, that
2030.
that 2030, we're gonna be able to turn the.
2030, we are still on track.
Just let me know, that's all I,
2030, we are still on track. As we've
Okay.
touched on before, critical
We
infrastructure.
should quit sitting on your hands.
Critical infrastructure project number 1 is moving forward, and that is the tunnel extension up in the city of Chicago, and that's a whole big logistical aspect. So that is, we're working on getting that part of it going, and that's probably one of the more complicated components. And critical infrastructure project number 2 is starting to get ramped up as well. Noria, that is one of the crossings.
Crossings.
Which one?
The mega crossing?
One of the mega
CalSag?
crossings under the CalSag. So there's a lot of technical stuff going into this, but it is moving forward, and everybody is still on track to 2030.
Are the allocations moving forward?
Yes. Dave, do you recall March or April, weren't there a couple of municipalities starting to have their hearings with DNR?
We're going back in March for the second round of pre-hearings.
Yeah.
And I would assume that if all those go well, the hearings will probably be set in April, Mayish, maybe June. But everybody's moving along, and everybody's getting ready to refile in the next few weeks.
So everybody is working and continuing forward on their obligations.
Glad you allowed our attorney to speak. Went through all this trouble to have a fan over his head and a beautiful tan, and I was afraid you weren't going to say anything, Dave.
Oh, no, I'm here. Mayor, just on that agreement, a couple other things. It does make some changes that conform with the new legislation that was passed, and also authorizes the next 2 payments into the commission fund.
So the payments that we've already been doing, it's just, again, it's further extension of stuff that we've already been doing, so.
And just allows more flexibility on some deadlines.
Yep. And once the other 4 municipalities get their approval, then we can enter into the actual IGA and form the formal water commission.
When we had done the preliminary IGA originally, IDNR had promised us the schedule that was reflected in that document, and IDNR, quite frankly, changed the schedule, and that's why we're in the predicament we're in.
Okay.
If not, we'll take a motion to approve the item 7.
I move to approve a resolution approving a First Amendment to the preliminary agreement regarding formation of a regional water commission.
I'll second it.
Motion Kirkland, second Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Chapman.
Yes.
All right, item number 7 has been approved. We will move into our department reports with that building.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report.
No problem, thank you. Community development?
Thank you. Okay, so we are wrapping up on the comp plan, and we've scheduled the public hearing for March 1st. Hopefully tomorrow, we'll have the draft uploaded to the comp plan website, and we'll send you all a link if you want to get started on reading it. It's a hefty document, about 100 pages. So we will send out a link to the board, to the plan commission, to the steering committee, so everybody can read it at their leisure. Public hearing will be in 2 weeks, so hopefully that gives everybody enough time. And then if the plan commission's able to make a recommendation that evening, we'll bring it forward on March 14th for your approval. On that same meeting, we're working on an annexation agreement with Troy Fire District for their property on Jones Road. We wouldn't quite annex it because we're not contiguous, but entering into the annexation agreement will give us the ability to review their engineering plans and things like that, which will be nice to do. We appreciate you guys approving the website contract. We've already started working on that, answering design questionnaires, getting all the information ready. So we're going to kick that project off soon with everybody and get working on that.
Thank you. Finance?
Thank you. The budget workshop is here at the Village Hall tomorrow night. The budget packets went out last week for your review. If there are any questions or concerns in advance of the meeting tomorrow night, you can reach me at the office tomorrow during the day.
Very good, thank you. And with that, we will move into parks.
Good evening. Spring newsletters are at the printers and should be delivered to homes between this week and next week. This will include all of our programs from March to May, as well as our spring events and their dates. Community-wide garage sale registration does end April 14th, so we're getting a lot of those in, but it does end soon. And our monthly senior socials is gaining great following. The group had a wonderful time today celebrating with lunch and live music and games over at Home Sweet Home venue. And registration is still open for our March Pie Day party on March 14th. Thank you.
Thank you. I gotta say, I stopped over at the senior social today to say hello with everybody. And we occupied that Home Sweet Home occupancy with the little venue that we approved a little while back. Nice group, 30-some folks coming together. They had a nice little DJ lady singing some songs and having a little fun with the group, and it was great to see everybody out and have a little good afternoon on Valentine's Day nonetheless. So it was a great afternoon. With that, we will move over to our police department.
Just one quick thing, on March 11th, our Special Olympics team will be doing the polar plunge and jumping into the cold lake. If anybody wants to join us, you're welcome. I'll remind you next month. That's all I have.
Next month?
Next month, March 11th.
It'll be a little warmer, right?
We're a little.
Maybe. Warmer than today? Maybe
Perhaps.
not.
All right. With that, we move into Public Works. Noriel.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, Public Works, we're continuing to move. I want to say that we're pretty close to completing the move to our new facility. The fuel center is currently in test mode, and it is operating. We're tweaking a little bit on the pumps and such, but we'll hopefully be able to switch that over to allow everyone then to fuel up at the new center by the end of the month. The warm weather, so we're continuing our tree pruning program. We've now, staff have also removed a lot of dead limbs and trees that were hung up at the DuPage River crossing bridge. So we were able to clean that up a little bit. Street sweeping, if you've seen that out, we're starting, because again, the weather's conducive for it. And then we are also all preparing for our upcoming IEPA MPDS annual inspection. As for well number 9, we are tentatively scheduled next week to reinstall our pump and motor. Now, as soon as we hear and finalize the schedule with the contractor, we hope that should be completed by the end of next week, and us testing it and making sure we can bring it back into operations and then be able to switch between both deep wells. That's all I have. Any questions?
When you have time, I know you got nothing but time, but you guys are gonna take a look at all the debris that's under the Route 59 bridge also?
Route 59 bridge, we'll take a look at that as well.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Village Administrator.
No report.
Thank you. Now move into our trustee comment section. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. As you heard Natalie state, we'll have our planning and zoning meeting on March 1st, 7 o'clock here at the Village Hall. And unusual set of circumstances, we got Village Board the night before, so I don't think I've ever seen that.
February 28th to March 1.
Yep. So first time I think that's ever happened. So 7 o'clock here, March 1st. Thank you.
No problem. Trustee Carroll is not here this evening. Trustee Chapman?
No report, sir.
No problem. Thank you. Trustee Kirkland?
I have nothing.
No problem.
Thank you.
Trustee Luciano?
The Citizens Advisory Committee will be meeting a week from Thursday, February 23rd, here at the Village Hall at 7 p.m. That's all I have.
No problem. Thank you. And Trustee Selfridge?
No report. Thank you, Mayor.
No problem. Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to go into executive session, discuss personnel to consider the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and land acquisition and sale, lease of real estate owned by the village.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Luciano. Roll call.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes,
and Kirkland.
Yes.
yes with a question. Are we gonna,
And we will adjourn from exec. We will not take any action after executive session. So we will adjourn from exec. So with that, we will move into the other. Thank you. Okay.